Good evening. I am Eva Liu, reference librarian here at the Champaign Public Library. This is part of our Many Matters series here at the library, and we usually meet monthly on the third Thursday of each month and at 6 o'clock, 6 to 7 for about 1 hour. Tonight, I would like to introduce our presenter for the evening, Siqi Hu and Christy, both from University of Illinois Extension, and they will help us how to do food budgeting and how to make dinner easy. Because we know that the cost of grocery is going up. That's a hot topic. That's something that we all like to know. So that's help me welcome Siqi and Christy. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming tonight. I know it's a cold and dark night, and Thursday night is always really, really hard to find some time to go out for some events. So I really appreciate everyone coming for tonight. And I will get started my topic. So, okay, I will start with the first question. What is a food budget? Do you have a food budget? No, not really. Not really. Okay. Maybe after this lesson, we are going to do some food budget, and then we can save some money. Okay. Oh, yeah. This one. Yeah. Okay. The term food budget refers to a plan for spending money on food for you and your family. So it's basically specifically only for food. So anytime you go to the grocery store, you buy like clothes, you buy shoes, or you buy something else that is not food, that shouldn't count into food budgets. Okay, here is an important insight I want to let you know. This is the 2023 average annual expenditures of all consumers units in the US. So as you can see here, the first top, that is housing, and the second one, that's the transportation, and the third one is the food. And as we know, the first one and the second one, most of the time they are fixed. We're not going to do anything about that, but we definitely can do something about our food, so we can take control of our cost of food. So I have some steps for you to follow if you want to make a food budget for yourself. So the first step, that is develop a food budget. And I have the handouts for you before that. Go to the next one. Okay. So this is the data I can find from the USDA Food and Nutrition Service. And here you can find those weekly plan, weekly cost plan. You can find low cost, moderate, and liberal. So you can just find something that fits your family. If you think your family that will be fit into the low cost, then you can look into this column. And then children, male and female, and they also divide it by their age groups. So you can look into that. For example, I have a 4-year-old, so I will look into this one. That will be $39.10 for my 1 week cost. If I think, okay, I might need to go to moderate, then I will look for this column. That is $48.30. And then this is a liberal plan, so you can also look for that. And here's for the male and the female. This one looks complicated. If you have time, you can go home and then search this exactly data. And today I have a simplified one for you. Yes. So this one, maybe some of you already filled out this. So this one is based on the chart we just have seen. So this one just make it more simple, just adults 1, adult 2, and then child, and then their age, and then teenager, and then infants. You just need to circle those family members in this chart. For example, I have, in my family, I have my husband, myself, and then my 4-year-old daughter, and then my 7-year-old daughter. So I will do this. And then I will use the column 2 times column 3. So So it's here. And then because this is for 1 month, and then I will times 4 as well. So this is the expense for each one. And then end up here, I'm going to add up all the numbers here. Then I will have my monthly food budget here. So this is how I get my monthly food budget. Sometimes it's too high, sometimes it's too low. So every family varies. So if you find out, okay, that is not reasonable, that is not realistic, so you can also adjust it later. And then I go to my next step. Oh, okay. Okay, plan meals. Once you have the budget, now it's time to make some plan for the meals. I know sometimes we find it very frustrated or stressed when we plan meals, plan recipe, right? I'm a mom. I always find out that's so difficult to feed all of us in my family. Sometimes they are too picky, or sometimes I find, okay, that food is not available in this area. Yeah, since I'm a Chinese, so sometimes it's hard to find those ingredients in this community. But I do have some good resources for you. Okay. So first of all, I have these handouts for you as well. Never shop without a plan. If you just go shopping and then without any food plan in hand, then you probably end up buying too much. And then you're not going to use it, or you're not going to, and you just have no idea how to use them all, right? So if you have time, I prefer to find out an evening and gather my family together, and then we talk about what we're going to eat next week. It's not only my duty, it's everyone's duty to think about that, right? So we are going to work out what is the breakfast for next week, what's the lunch, what's the supper, and once you fill them out, and then you can move to this section, and then you will get your grocery list. And this grocery list is wonderful. Why? Because they separate into different sections, like vegetables, fruits, and grains. I want you to think about when you walk into the supermarket, have you find out like all the vegetables and fruits, they all in the produce section. So once you put them together, you walk into the produce section, you should get these two done, and you're not going to travel back. And then you go to the grains, like those like bakery section or the pasta section. You should get everything from here, from that. So you're not going to walk back and forth and take extra time for shopping.
It also helps to note too what you already have. My fiance and I, we plan every Sunday. We take at least like 15 to like 30 minutes-ish to look through what we already have, and we'll write that down on a separate list. We go through there and we're like, okay, what do we want to eat what day? So we switch off our proteins. We usually have like one meal a week where we just try to do vegetarian just for fun, little challenge. But it also ends up being cheaper too, trying a different kind of non-meat related protein. So like tofu and things like that, seitan. So we're finding all of these alternatives within our diet. So we're varying what we're eating. We're varying our proteins every day, as well as switching off vegetables and all that kind of stuff. So when we're shopping, we know exactly like, hey, if we want to make like a blackened salmon or something with some vegetables, what do we need for that? So if we keep the proteins pretty consistent, like we always do like chicken tender, or like the frozen chicken tenderloin things. We do salmon, some tuna, some sort of ground meat, and then we do a vegetarian option. So at least 5 days of the week we have varied protein, so we switch off what order we want to do that in. It limits the urge to get takeout. We usually tend to thaw the food out about a day before from the freezer, and that keeps it consistent so we're not as tempted. We're like, oh, we already have meat thawed in the fridge. We can't like go out to eat because we have this already. So it cuts that temptation by a lot too, and it helps us save kind of sanity when we're grocery shopping. So we can plan out what meals we need, and then we can just add the extra stuff onto a list like this.
Yeah. And also from this list, you can just see, okay, do I get enough vegetables? Do I get enough fruits from this? Or maybe you end up, okay, just like one vegetable, one fruit, and then a lot of proteins, a lot of others. Then you can see, oh, that's my problem. I need to make another plan, right? Okay, next page. Okay, this is other resources we can use. Actually, it's pretty easy and fun to play around with this website. The first one is the USDA My Place Shop Simple. If you have your phone in your hand right now, actually you can just scan this QR code. And then you can see some budget-friendly food, some budget-friendly recipes, and also some tips you can save money. So it's super fun. And also, if you look into the app, the website, you can also find out some information about the guidelines, like how much fruit we are going to have every day and how much vegetable we should have every day. They give you a lot of details about how to eat those fruits and how to incorporate into those fruits or vegetables into our meals.
And
So
it adjusts to by age group, so it's
Yes.
the needs vary at different ages for our bodies. So it's really nice to know maybe we're getting too much protein, maybe we're not getting enough fruit, or maybe not enough dairy to any degree. We need calcium as we're getting older as well. So those kinds of things are really good to be aware of. I didn't realize that I was getting too much protein and not enough vegetables in my diet, because I think for our age right now, it's 2.5 cups of vegetables a day on average.
yes, 2.5 cups.
Yeah, so I'm not getting enough vegetables for sure. So it's one of those things that kind of helps me reflect on that and see as I'm getting older what I need to be getting.
Yep. So this one is a fun one. And then the next one is the extension, Eat
It's
Move
our website.
Safe. Yeah, so that's what we work at. Here, and also you can find recipes here. And you can also find Illinois local produce. So if you don't know, okay, what are the local produce? So you can have a look, and then you can have the handout about those produce when they're in season. So it's a pretty good. Sometimes when we buy groceries, buy produce, they're in season. They are much cheaper, and they taste even like better. And they have better taste, and they cost a little.
Yeah, and that's what that rainbow handout is. So it can tell you any time of year what produce is in season. If you've gone to any of the farmers markets, if you see the sweet corn trucks pulling up, it's a ton that you can buy there. You can freeze all of that stuff too. Freezing produce is a good way to save money later on. It usually tends to, if it's stored properly, can last usually a couple of months in the freezer, which is nice. Just have to make sure it's stored properly and has time to fully freeze before thawing it again. But it's one of those things where you can save a fair amount of money while doing that. There's also recipes like the chicken salad that we have over there. So if you're looking for more recipes like that, it has a category just of quick and easy recipes, so things that you can make in under 15 minutes. So if you're running into issues with time, I never have enough hours in the day to make all the fun things I want to make. But it is nice to have the option to make quick recipes, make quick dinners, or food like, again, the chicken salad where I can make it and I can put a giant batch in my fridge and have that for like the rest of my week's lunches if I want to. So lots of really good ways on this website to find ways to eat better, to move more, and to save money.
Yes. As you can see here, we have the Eat, Move, and Save. So every time when you click on Eat, there will be something about the recipes. And when you click into the Move, there will be something talk about how to keep your body stay active. So it's really, really good. And then Save, there will be have some like little tricks, little tips to tell you how to save your money. So it's a fun website.
Yes.
Okay, and this one also super, super fun. So this one is called my fridge food. So this one can create recipes with limited ingredients. So for example, like some weeknights, like you don't want to go to the grocery store, but you don't know what to eat for tonight, but you do have something in your fridge. Yeah, for example, you have like broccoli, and what else? Cheese. And then you have like cauliflower, something like that. And then you just click on those ingredients you already have, and then you click here, find recipes. Then you will find recipes. Actually, we can play around that.
Yeah.
We can
This
click
one,
into
we
that.
will just have to note, is not always the healthiest of recipes. It is one of those cool websites where people can submit recipes for it as well. So it's cool because you can, if you find a recipe that you really enjoy, you can end up taking that. Ooh. Come on, you
Does
can
it
do
work?
it. You can do it. I'm trying to do it. I told you I'm not great with technology.
Okay.
There
Good.
we go.
Yes.
Yeah, so if we're looking at ingredients that we have here, we can look through these. So if I'm thinking about it, I know I have broccoli.
Broccoli.
We have, let's say I have bacon. And I have, let's do some cheddar cheese and green peppers.
How about eggs?
and eggs?
Yeah, because sometimes you have some eggs in the fridge.
Yes, we do. So we can see some of the recipes, and if you find one that you like, try submitting it. It's super fun here. So they have bacon wrapped mini omelets, bacon sheet. So some of these are cool too, where it says if you if it doesn't have a picture, you could enter in a photo of the recipe, and you could potentially win a prize. So we can't vouch for how much you can win or what you win for that. This is just a for fun thing that I've used. I used it all through college. Was making minimum wage in college, so we did what we could with all of these websites. Crispy cheese bites, bacon taco shells. So lots of really cool options here for cool things to just have.
Cheesy broccoli
So
bites.
these might not be things like a bacon breakfast ring, may not be something that you might have thought of on your own, but this is a cool way to get ideas. So if you don't use these exact recipes, maybe you can change them.
Yeah.
Like our conversation about the chicken salad earlier, instead of chicken, you can use chickpeas, and you can change the seasonings around to make it exactly the flavor profile you're looking for, or that maybe the texture or taste. If you're craving something a little bit more savory for breakfast, you can make something like this, the bacon breakfast ring, or an egg muffin sandwich and all that fun stuff. So there's a lot of really cool options within this website alone, where you can have those choices for things you might not have thought of beforehand. I absolutely love using it, but again, we can't vouch for how healthy they are. Our website has a lot of good healthy
get some
recipes
ideas
and
from
stuff.
that.
Yeah, so keep an eye on like all that kind of stuff, the sodium and everything of the things that you're making, just to make sure that we're keeping our bodies as healthy as possible. But this is fun for ideas.
Yeah, I love
anytime
this
I hit
website.
like a creative
play
route with
around.
cooking, I do it. And then we have
The next one, the next step. Okay, once you have all the meal plans, you start going to the grocery shop to do some shopping, right? Okay, and I am going to share some tricks for grocery shopping. I like to move to the first one, stick to the edge of the grocery store.
Yeah, so around the edges of the grocery store, we're thinking things like fresh fruits and veggies. So we have the produce section, we have deli, we have butcher, we have things
and
like
the fresh
that.
meats.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we have all that kind of stuff. And then you have the freezer section, which has a lot of really good flash frozen fruits and vegetables, as well as good proteins, things that aren't going to go bad near as fast. So you're stretching that dollar of everything that you're spending for groceries. So things like that, you're going to get possibly the best value for a lot of things. Usually in the middle of the grocery stores, where they tend to put a lot of the processed foods, which you don't have to stay away from. We will never advise staying away from it, but we will try to encourage as much as possible fresh foods, because those are going to have the most nutritional value for your body. Those are going to be things that are going to keep you fuller longer, and they're going to just generally help the stomach feel better. So those are the kinds of things. So edges of the grocery store tend to be the best. If you're thinking about your favorite grocery store, thinking about that first loop that you make around it
outside.
is going to just be the outside edges. If you need things on the inside, like canned goods and all that stuff, make a spiral, because that tends to be the easiest way, so you're not spending quickly on things like chips and convenience foods. So you're shopping for the freshest
more
and
healthier option.
healthy options first, and then you go into the middle and grab the things that you need from there.
Okay. Buy in season produce, yeah. And then those color sheets you have, there's all the information about those produce when they're in season. So buy in season, produce, that means it's much healthier for you, and also you can save more money about that.
Yes, there are some great grapes in season right now. Phenomenal. I've been in a grape phase lately. I love fruit, so I know that getting a lot of fruit like that, strawberries in the summertime and like late summer, early fall is going to be the best deal on berries. So you're going to be getting a lot of those. We have through the extension some canning classes. So if you want to learn how to can, going to the extension website, you can see when those start so that you can start canning those kinds of things. It's usually midsummer that they start doing those. So it's really cool. So if you want to get a bunch of fresh produce and can it for later, they teach you, they have jam making classes and stuff too. So lots of free classes that will help you save money with all the produce that you're
just
getting.
check out our website and then find out some useful
Shameless plug, we
information.
gotta do it.
Do not shop hungry. Have you shop hungry? I do. Yeah. Then what happened? Yeah, buy a lot. And then when I return home, and I just find out I don't need them. I don't want them right now.
It's the shopping with your stomach, not your brain.
Yeah.
I have a bunch of ingredients that I have no idea what to do with afterwards. And I'm like, oh, this sounds great. Like I have chips, I have chocolate chips, and then I have absolutely no idea what to do with this because I have no dinner.
Yes,
So.
exactly.
Yeah, so that's usually a good thing to avoid. Even a little snack beforehand, little things like that help with it.
Yep. And go to the grocery store during slow times. That means it can give you more time to compare the prices and also read into the nutrition facts label. Yeah.
So usually slower times around here that I found have been usually before 8 o'clock, which tends to be a little bit harder, like 8 o'clock on a Monday to find fresh produce because a lot of stores haven't restocked by that point around here from what I've seen living out here for the past few years. And after usually about 5 o'clock, like 4:30, 5 o'clock is just when it gets really, really busy in the grocery store. So
Yeah,
if you
people
can
up to
shop
work.
kind of midday, that tends to be a little bit easier of a time. I've gotten in and out of Costco. I think it was 7 minutes was my record. I went in there, I got one thing that is a miracle. It's my claim to fame, putting it on my resume. Like I did a Costco run in 6 minutes and got the one thing I needed. It was my favorite thing in the world, and I was riding that high for a week. So it's one of those things. I went in with a list, and the list said one thing only, and I got the one thing. So it's easy enough though, because I went. It was just like feeling around for it. I talked to no one, interacted with no one, had an audiobook going. You got to do what you got to do. If I start talking to people, I lose the entire plot of what I'm doing. So it's just that kind of stuff, like knowing when you're going in and what you're doing. Accountability partners help. This is my accountability partner. Say hello to my accountability partner. She makes me work out, and she helps me to not buy the things I don't need at the grocery store.
I'm really good at planning.
Yeah, I'm not. So this is why it works. Having people like that to kind of balance you out really helps with the whole process of keeping yourself accountable, because I know I have zero accountability for myself. I somehow survived this long without it. So, but it's fun. So it's like when we have that time, we take our lunch break and we go shopping for all of the stuff that we need.
Yes.
Usually the like non-refrigerated, non-perishable items. Like if I know I need like a bunch of rice and canned goods and stuff like that, we'll go during our lunch break, grab a bunch of that stuff, and then the next day I'll go and get the refrigerated stuff when I know I have a little bit more time and I'm going home right after. So there are ways where you don't have to do all of the grocery shopping at once. You can kind of pace yourself with it. I usually tend to take like 2 days a month to do a really big shop, and then I do maintenance shops along the way. So I'm not overwhelming myself, because grocery stores are very overwhelming sometimes. And I take it at my own pace with it, and going during those slow times does help me pace myself a lot better, because I don't feel like I have to do all of the things quickly. I don't feel like I have to rush through my grocery shopping. I'm not grabbing the first thing I see. Instead of grabbing the peanut butter that I want, I'm not grabbing the first one that I see because other people are behind me or around me and all of that stuff.
Yes, when we talk about compare price, actually, if you look into those price tag, you will find out two prices there. So one is the unit price and one is the retail price. So the unit price, that is going to tell you like how, like each pound or each ounce. And retail price, that will be just tell you like this container, like this package. So what matter? I think the unit price has more sense because this is what we actually have from these products. And this one is only like one package, but you're not going to know how much it is. So
Yeah,
always compare that little fine print unit price.
Especially if you do buy in bulk. That's one of those things where sometimes it seems like a better deal because you are getting more of it, but it could also be one of those things where it ends up costing more per item than if you were to buy them individually somewhere else. So those prices aren't always accurate. If you can, most places will price match. I know a lot of the big box stores will price match. If you see like, hey, this unit price is actually a little bit cheaper, a lot of times they can price match with that and bring the cost down, so you do end up paying less overall. But those unit prices, I was looking at cat food the other day, and I was able to find that what I wanted to get, it was just some treats for my cat. And we ended up finding out that buying more of it made it go down in price. So it ended up going from like $1.25 each for the treats. It went down to 82 cents each when I bought more of them. And I was going to use them anyway, so I ended up buying like a 12-pack instead of like a couple of them, like 3 or 4 individuals.
Make difference.
So it's one of those kinds of things where if we're looking at that kind of stuff, it's not just for our food budget, it's for our pets, it's for our kids, it's for everyone in the house. If we're looking at stuff like this, how can we make it cheaper? How can we save ourselves a little bit of cost on that?
Yeah. And here also, if you have time, you can also look into those nutrition facts label. If you find out some products that look similar to you, the flavor are similar, and the price also similar. And how about you look into the nutrition facts label, and then you find out something different. And then you can make healthier option. For example, this red circle, red rectangle, red box, that is something we want to limit. And this green one, that is some nutrients we want to get more. So like saturated fats, we don't want to get more. Sodium, we don't want to get more. And added sugar, we don't want to get more. And fiber, we want to get more. And vitamins and minerals, those we want to get more. So when you compare 2 products, you can also look into the nutrition facts label to find out which one is the best for yourself.
Yes.
So the total fat, is that the saturated and the trans added together?
No, actually total fat, that is saturated fats and trans fat and unsaturated fats. Unsaturated fat, that is the fats our body needs. It's good for our hearts. And the food label doesn't have saturated, unsaturated fats, but you can do some math. You can just like total fats and then minus saturated fats, minus trans fat. That is the unsaturated fats. Okay. Yes.
Yeah. So looking at things like fiber too, when it says total carbohydrates and dietary fiber, if we're looking for higher fiber options, which a lot of people, especially Americans, I think the USDA says that like something over 50% of Americans don't get enough fiber in their diet. We're looking at how much fiber here. So if we're looking at total carbohydrates, 21 grams and 2 grams of dietary fiber, that's going to balance out. So if we're looking for higher fiber things, even if it says that it's higher in carbohydrates, if it's higher in fiber, that's going to be something that balances out. We're looking at soluble fiber and non-soluble fiber. That is stuff that can clear out our full system at that point. Non-soluble fiber is anything that, kind of like corn, never fully like gets processed throughout the body.
Anything basically you can find in your poop.
Yes.
So that is,
she said it in a nice way. But that kind of stuff is going to be good for your body as well, because non-soluble fiber does still clear out our systems. So looking at things like quinoa, brown rice, things like that, whole grains are going to have a lot more to help our bodies. So looking at like how much we're getting in a day, half of our grains should be whole grains as much as possible. Not all of them. We love a bit of Wonder Bread sometimes. But making sure that we're balancing out what we can get in our system. So getting more vitamins, getting more fiber. Carbs are necessary for brain function and bodily function, so we do need that. Sugars to a degree are necessary, which we get a lot of the sugar that we need to fuel our body through carbohydrates, so those are not in the red squares. And cholesterol we do need. Our hearts run off of cholesterol. We have heart healthy and non-heart healthy cholesterols. So those are all things that a dietitian can go into more detail on, but those are things that your body needs, so that's why they are not in the red squares. So we want to make sure that we're getting what our body needs and adding what we can to our diet. So just keeping track of what we're seeing within ourselves too, listening to our bodies and seeing what it needs. And serving sizes are always important to look at too, to make sure that we're getting the accurate amount of it. Because if it says a serving size is a half cup.
Yeah, but every time I have 2 cups.
Yep.
Yeah, then I have to 4 times this.
Yes. So a lot of people don't really read the serving sizes on a lot of things. It might not seem like enough, but it's what your body needs of that. So measuring it out does help because it helps keep everything in proportion within our bodies.
Avoid overly processed food. So processed food, that means something we do to the products to change the natural stage. For example, we have an apple, we have an apple pie. So apple is still in the natural stage, but apple pie, that is something we already done to it, so it's processed. Yeah.
Yep. So that even, it's considered like if you get sliced apples already. So even if it's just them being pre-sliced or deli meats, if we're getting stuff like that, even if we're just slicing off part of a chicken, it becomes processed at that point too. So thinking about that kind of stuff, it's not a scary buzzword or anything like that. It's just thinking about, has a process been done to this food?
Yes.
Has anything been done to this food? If it's been washed, it's technically been processed just a little bit.
Yeah, just not that much too overly
We're not finding
processed.
the hot dog tree anytime soon, but you know.
Yeah.
So we're looking at that kind of stuff, just seeing what we can make ourselves. I've started making pasta myself just to see if I could. I'm my own worst enemy when it comes to trying to see if I can do things. But it's actually surprisingly easy, and I can make a fair amount of pasta, put it in the fridge, and I can make it over and over again. I've been making a lot of soups, because when it's cold like this, if I'm getting home late or anything like that, we just pop a couple of servings out of that. We have one of those containers that I got online that measures out a portion of soup, and we have a ton of soup in our freezer that we're able to just kind of pop in the microwave and eat as we want to. So it's really nice to be able to do that because, again, lessens the chance of us getting food out. Having those things easy to access does help on those days where you're just kind of low energy. It happens a lot, especially, I think we've seen the sun, twice this month?
Yeah.
It's easy when we're wanting to kind of find comfort in those kinds of things. And I do love a hot dog. I love a hot dog. But making sure that we're balancing out what we can, eating what we can. I'm not going to start making hot dogs, I can promise you that. But just figuring out what you can do to limit processed foods. So.
Okay, look high and low. Because those products, they on the eye level shelves, because of the food manufacturer pay more money to get their products sit there. So if you look up and high, probably you can find more affordable, more good price.
Sometimes the sales are low too.
Yes. And also, here's another trick. I enjoy doing this. Sometimes I just doing this for fun. I love to see like those veggie scraps just grow. Like lettuce and green onions, I did this a lot. Remember, you have to keep the roots. And then you put into a little jar and then put some water, and then they start growing. Is that amazing?
Did you say we have to remove the root? Or
You have to keep it.
Yeah,
you have
just
to
keep the
this.
last at least inch
Yes.
of the root for green onion.
Just recently, I got like from HB
Oh.
onions and I tried this.
Wow.
In the past I tried. I like just how quickly I can just chop a few and add it to my noodles and all.
Yeah.
The only thing is sometimes when I put it in the soil, if I overwater it, like it becomes like
Yeah.
fungus and all.
Oh,
Otherwise, like this is so helpful, especially
yes.
if I get this much, I just put it in my noodles.
Yeah.
Yes,
So I don't have to worry
exactly.
about the
Yeah.
thing buying
Yeah,
and then
I have
especially
the
for green onions. Sometimes we just need a little bit, but every time we get one bundle, what I'm going to do with the rest?
Yeah.
Yeah, just throw them away sometimes, right? How about you start doing this?
Yeah, and it's really nice too if you have extra parts of it, like the outside pieces of like celery, which aren't always great, or like you have a couple of little parts of the green onion that wilt a lot faster than the other. If you throw it into a big freezer bag, I make veggie stock once every couple of months out of it. So that's all you really need, just a couple of those pieces, the kind of like papery part on onions too you can use, like the ends of carrots on either end. We compost a lot of the stuff, but like things like onions we can't really compost. But we try to keep as much as we can in that bag. It's fun to kind of watch it grow. So once the bag is completely full, then I make just a giant batch of veggie stock. And all you have to do is just boil it for a few hours in some filtered water. And it is the easiest thing in the world. It is so flavorful, especially when I get the garlic bits in there too.
Yeah, that is
So
has the strongest flavor.
So you might need to add like a little bit of salt in there, just add a little bit of sodium. I throw a couple splashes of like Worcestershire in there and it gets the perfect flavor. So that's a good way to kind of customize things, because if you know that you like a more oniony or more garlicky veggie stock, anytime you get garlic, you can just throw a little bit in there too. So it's a really easy way to make the most out of all of that. I got bored, I get bored a lot during the summer especially. I used to be a teacher, so I had a lot of time during the summer to do things. I got a broken kiddie pool from somebody, like one of my neighbors was just giving it away, and I made a little tiny garden out of it. And I used that. I grew spinach and arugula, which spinach, arugula, and I believe lettuce are all things that you can regrow from the same plant at least 3 times before it starts changing the
just
flavor
rip
of
off
it.
the outside, the outside layer.
Yep,
Keep the inside layer.
Yep, and you could just keep regrowing it. The arugula gets more peppery as it goes, so it's really fun. So we were playing around with flavors a lot, but I put way too much spinach and arugula in there, so I had a ton of that summer. But it was cool because I cooked all the spinach and arugula down and I froze it, so then I had it for later too. So that winter I had a ton that I can just throw into dishes. It was already sauteed and ready to go. So there's a lot of ways that you can use the extra bits of food that you have. If you get a rotisserie chicken from pretty much anywhere, you can take all of the bones from it and you can boil that down and make a chicken stock out of that as well. It's already basically pre-seasoned if the chickens are pre-seasoned, so you don't really have to do anything with that. If you have any bones in any sort of meat, you can make stock out of that too. Those are all things that just require the bones and water to make a full stock out of. So there's lots of really good ways that you can use all of those things that otherwise would have been trash and save yourself money, where you don't have to buy stock ever again if you're saving these things. And those are things like the bones, again, where you can just freeze them, and then when you're ready to use them and make stock, thaw them out and you have that. So lots of good ways to use what you already have or would have gone to the trash. And the fun one.
Yeah. And now just talk about some store rewards programs. The first one is the Target one.
Yeah.
They used to have the good rewards, but now they don't have. So now what I usually do, just every time I click into those, hi Siqi, you have 3 circle bonuses. And then I click into that, and then to see if that is something I need, then I just go for that. And also here, sometimes you can also find out the bonus here, but you have to click apply. Otherwise, when you go check out, they won't apply. So remember, you have that good deals, but you need to click into that to make it happen. So you will see that change to this, apply to the cart.
Target also does a really fun thing too, where if you're walking through the store, they will usually have signs that'll say $5 gift card. So if there's things like, we got a bunch of laundry detergent, we needed to stock up anyway because we usually tend to buy that in bulk. And we had gone to Target before we had gone to Costco, and it was already on our list. We ended up buying the same amount that we were going to buy from Costco, like down to the ounce and everything, at Target, and got a $10 gift card back. So there's a lot of sales like that constantly going on at Target. We had an incident with the silverware. It was a ridiculous situation where we left all our silverware out of state somehow, and we needed more, and there was a sale on silverware, and we got $15 back. So there's a lot of really good sales that you can use where you can maximize how much you're spending, and still, I mean, with Target, you can get money back. Even if their points don't add up as quickly as they used to, you can still get gift cards back. So the next time you go shopping, you can factor that into it too, because a lot of them go into digital gift cards that go right into your account. So if you want to do an online order, that's an easy way to maximize that too.
And then the next one is a Snooks. This one I like the most. Because every time when I just go check out, I hit my number, and then they just pop up, okay, you have like $5 reward. Do you want to use it? Yes. Yeah, so this one is easy. You just need to go to their website or go to their customer service and then just say, hey, I want to sign up for this reward program. And then you get signed in. And then next time when you check out, remember to put on your phone number and then it starts calculate those points. So this one is pretty good.
Yep.
Yeah, and this is Maya. I feel like it's almost the same as the snooze, but sometimes I get confused because sometimes I get super so many points because just one product. But sometimes I spend $100, but I still just get like a few points. So this one I still don't understand how it works.
Yeah, Meijer has bonuses though too, where they have items where, like if you look through that before the week starts or whatever, before you have to go shopping, you can see which ones. A lot of them have coupons on them, and you can earn almost like triple points on a lot of items too. Yeah, so like with some of these things, the coupons that you click, you can do bonus items with them where you can get like 5,000 points for a single item, and that's like $5 off or something like that. Or
Yes.
I think it's like 10,000 is $5 off. I can't remember their translation system there, but it's really cool because you can earn points very quickly for things like that. If it's stuff that you're already going to buy, wouldn't go out of your way to buy those kinds of things, but it's not a bad way to save a little bit of extra money there too. And then
And then Aldi, they don't have any apps, but I do recommend you follow their
Social
Facebook
media,
page. Yeah, because every time when you just scroll down your phone and then you find out, okay, that is something I need to stock up, then just go and then get something stock up.
we have
We have the flyer.
yeah, we have an Aldi ad that we got right before the Super Bowl weekend. So that one's
so you
super
can
fun.
have a look
Yeah,
what
so
exactly they looks like.
the Super Bowl weekend is a really good time, or holiday weekends, things like that, a really good time to look for sales because they're going to be selling a lot of things. And we have their next week preview from that week too, which is really cool because when we come home after shopping, especially at Aldi, my fiance and I look through this to see what's going to be on sale next. This was all like kids' toys for some reason, except for like a couple little things of meat here where they had like fresh seasoned lamb leg steaks, which was really interesting because that's not something that we would have gotten otherwise, but it's not a bad price on it. So looking at that, we can look forward for like the next sales. So we're like, oh yeah, this is something that we actually could do. Or if we're looking at it in like the next week, we can look at these previews because Aldi posts it every single week without fail. They post what's gonna come up on sale. So looking through those things, you can compare with current prices, all that kind of stuff to figure out what's going to be budget friendly.
Yeah, or make
and
these
good
on
stuff.
sale products into your daily meal.
Yes.
Yeah, then you can
So that's
save
a fun
some
little
money.
treats there.
I like their organic blueberries in freezer section.
Oh, I haven't had those.
Those are the best price. Like
They always have the good price.
If
They
you-
always.
those avocado oil, like
And ghee. I get ghee from there too.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see them selling now. I used to get.
They,
last
yeah, I
year,
used to get it a lot last year.
but it's been like 6 months. I didn't see them.
Yeah, they have also really good if you like sushi. They have a sushi grade tuna steak that's frozen. I make seared tuna out of that, and I've made sushi out of that a few times. It just has to naturally like thaw out. We leave it in the fridge. Usually within 24 hours, it's ready. And we have made a ton of stuff out of that. And for 3, usually about like this big tuna steaks, it's only $5. And it's been consistently like $4.97 or something like that for like the past 3 years that we've gotten it. So there's a lot of little things where you can still have those little luxuries and still treat yourself and have fun little options like that while still remaining within your budget, because $5 is definitely within our grocery budget, especially for an extra protein, something just a little bit more fun, feeling fancy, all that fun stuff.
Yeah,
And
and then
they've
one
already
last thing that is something about our farmers markets. So if you have the link card and you can get those match the swipe amounts 1-to-1 with Snap Match vouchers. That means every dollars you spend, you will going to get the $1 voucher and tokens. So that means you can get like 50% off of everything. So that's a lot.
It is a great way to maximize. Not a lot of people know too that there's a lot more qualifications
Yes.
for Link and Snap at this point, so it's always worth looking into it periodically because it does update based on income who is capable of getting it. It's one of those kinds of things where I had it in college, and I was able to do this at our college farmers market, and it was awesome. I got a ton of fresh produce that I wouldn't have gotten otherwise. Working on campus, they limited you to like 11 hours a week that you were allowed to work, so it was crazy. So you get what you can, and it was one of those things that was a lifesaver. I was able to get a lot of really good local produce so cheap. So fun to look at.
Okay, finally, we survived from grocery shopping. And then you're going to check your food expenses. Okay, why you need to check your food expenses? That's because decide if you have a realistic food budget. Become aware of the types of food you are buying. Decide if you are spending money on healthy food. Identify ways to make changes in your spending so you can stretch your food resources. Okay. Now I have a scenario to share with you. So I have this family, the Smith family, two moderatively active adults, and a 2-year-old daughter and a 6-year-old son are looking over expenses. The family keep track of how much they are spending for food and discover it was $824 per month. Their food budget was $700 per month. So we are going to help them out.
Yeah, one good thing to note though too, if we go back to that, is how little they were spending extra a week. So $30 more a week.
Yes, we definitely can help them.
If they're doing just $6 extra a day during the weekdays, that's their whole monthly budget getting blown out of proportion with that. So thinking about, is that math right? I don't trust myself today with that. It sounded right.
I think it's right.
But yeah, so thinking about that, it's so easy sometimes to be like, oh, well, I just want to buy myself like a coffee. I want to buy myself this thing that you didn't budget for already. It's something that could very easily kind of tip the scales on that. So making sure if you know that you want to get coffee at least once a week, working it into your budget. It's so hard to try to undo the budget when you've already spent the money, but it's easy to try to factor it in, because I know usually at least like once every couple of weeks I like getting a fresh croissant. That is just my little treat to myself, or getting like
We do need
hot
that.
tea or something. Like, you need it sometimes, and it's just one of those things where you know it's not worth it to deny, because you're only going to want it more, you're only going to think about it more. So building those things into your budget, you're not spending an extra $5-6 a day, which leads you to go over budget if this is your $700 a month budget. So adding those things in there can help you in the long run. It keeps you from overspending on that. Yeah.
So what tips would you have for people who buy groceries, healthy food and junk food, like chips and cookies,
Yeah.
family. But again, instead of cooking that, end up going to restaurants to eat. I'm that person.
Oh, I
like,
do that.
When I go to grocery, I buy all these organic box spinach,
Yeah.
organic hummus, everything, like all of the good stuff. But then in the evening, like I'm tired, or in the morning,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
I wake up to before going to
Yeah, I
work
don't
and
want to
cook.
cook then.
I
So
have,
I end up eating out a lot.
Yeah.
Like, my restaurant bills go up, and I see like last month I threw a lot of stuff from the fridge because
Yeah.
it all got rotten because I wasn't cooking.
I found that looking through what motivates you for that kind of stuff, for me, it's that challenge. I like to see like the physical like things that I'm doing. I don't know if you guys get the notifications too, but my phone likes to remind me of really random things. It's like photo memory and stuff like that. It's like, look at all these things, and it's like furry friends or this person you haven't talked to in 5 years or whatever. And for me, it pops up with food like that I've made. So every time I make a dish that I like, I take a picture of it. I try to challenge myself as much as possible. I think in my head it's Iron Chef, but like in reality I'm living in Champagne. Like we're not going that crazy in the groceries. But I get really excited about trying new things. So I have like half of my camera roll is my pets and the other half is food pictures at this point. But it's like I find like these little meals, these little challenges. I watch a lot of movies that have like food in them, subsequently like the Studio Ghibli movies with all the beautiful looking food. So I have made a challenge to try to make as much of that as possible. So if I want to try to challenge myself like that, I take those pictures and then I have that tangible stuff of like, oh, I made this was really good that one day. And it has gotten to the point where I've started making food that I crave when I want to eat out. and I've made it to my taste exactly. So I found that like I can't eat at Olive Garden anymore because I've made all the things that I like there exactly how I want them. And we used to go there a lot. So I was like, the chicken and gnocchi soup that I am addicted to, the breadsticks, I found a way to make them exactly how I want them because there was never enough of that garlic butter on the breadsticks. So I found out how to make it better so I can make it as a dipping sauce at this point. I've made the soup to the point where I like it a little bit more. It has a little bit more flavor. I got some Mediterranean in me, so I eat a ton of garlic. So like adding more garlic to a lot of recipes is like ways that I found to balance it out. But finding those things that motivate you within it, where do you see that challenge for yourself? Where do you see where you can be competing on yourself? Like, how can you make this better? Like, how can you?
Just the energy levels. Like,
Yeah.
I have a lot of it at night. It's not during the day. I do not wake up nice.
so if I'm in the phase of cooking every day, I'm in
Yeah.
the phase of cooking every day.
Yeah.
If I eat out, then I have less energy because of the junk.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't have energy that entire week to cook, and then I end
Yeah.
up eating out.
Well,
So
I've also bought.
How about you spend a weekend and then cook a lot and
Yeah.
then keep into the freezer?
Batch cooking is a great way to do that.
Yeah.
There's also I found
You
like
don't have
sometimes
to cook every day.
Yeah, sometimes I really want like bacon from like a specific breakfast place, like Original House of Pancakes has really beautiful thick cut bacon. Sometimes I just really want that. Instead of going out to eat a full meal there, I order it to go, so I'm not tempted to stay there. So I get that bacon, and then my fiance is making eggs, like the way that we both like making eggs. So we'll make like an omelet out of the bacon that we get because we know we want that specific thing, or like potato pancakes or like something specific that we're craving. I get that one thing, and that's my little dopamine hit for the day. I was like, ooh, I get to do this, and I'm not cooking near as much. I don't have to dirty all like the dishes with making like a full tray of bacon if I just want like 1 or 2 pieces of it. So that might be a way that you can
Yeah.
balance out the budget a little bit more, get that
Or
kind
you
of hit of
can-
not having to cook all the things yourself while still being able to do that. Like maybe you get an entree from somewhere and then you make a bunch of
Yes.
sides.
Yeah.
So you can figure out
Make
the sides
main
that you want to
dish,
make.
Make the side by yourself.
Yeah.
It can also
so
work.
you don't have to stop eating out because you will never make me. So I will do exactly what I want to do when I want to do it, but finding the ways to complement my lifestyle and complement the budget that I have. Because I think I make like $1 million a year. I don't, but like I feel like I do sometimes. So I'm like, oh, I can buy this and this and that. So it's finding where you can find that balance within yourself, like what's a good choice for you, like on that front. Like, can you buy an entree somewhere and make sides at home? So you're balancing out what would have made you maybe feel a little bit worse buying a whole meal out versus buying the entree and a bunch of fresh vegetables on the side. Or making like the perfect mashed potatoes or something like that on the side with it.
Yeah.
So it's that fun challenge. Like I like to beat the clock with it. So if I order something to go, DoorDash tells you like how long it's gonna be. Or like sometimes Domino's has the tracker and stuff like that. So I try to beat that clock to see how fast I can make a bunch of sides, like 2 side salads and like a smoothie or something like that if I want to get fancy. And can I do it in that time frame? So like those kinds of things make it a little bit more fun. So kind of gamifying your own life. Find that motivation where there probably isn't any. And there are some days I come home, I sit on the couch, and I become the couch. So it's not every single day that I'm motivated to do things, but it's being realistic with yourself. Nobody's going to be perfect. Nobody's going to be this overachiever all the time.
Okay, I have to drag you back to the receipt.
Yes, because
okay.
she does that to me.
Okay, did you circle those changes?
Yeah, looking at that receipt, it's not the most beautiful receipt in the world. It's what we
I make
have.
it, it's fake.
It's beautiful because I love it. But no, thinking about what we can do on this, where we can
What do you
modify
think?
it, and it's not going to be everybody's budget or everybody's diet.
Yeah, so what do you think? What changes can they make?
the chips, they can reduce it to 1 or 2 bags.
Yeah. Or they just can buy a big one instead of those 5 small baggies.
Yeah.
Yep. And what else? It's winter time.
Yeah.
It's winter time right now, so look in those off-season produce.
Substitute all the junk actually, like the bottled water.
Yeah, the bottled water.
Trail mix like 18 baggies, they can buy the big one and then just separate.
Yes, exactly.
Or you can buy
Yeah.
all the ingredients in bulk too. Places like the Co-op have it,
Yeah.
and I think Schnucks has it still too. You can buy it like different measurements of those ingredients and make a trail mix yourself at home.
Yeah.
That's nice to be able to do stuff
Yeah.
like that.
And also look into the fresh corn. Yeah, it's winter time, so fresh corn always means expensive. So how about use canned sweet corn instead of fresh corn?
I think the stew meat is something that we can look at too. Yeah. The stew meat too, if you're looking at stew beef, usually if you're buying it already cut up
Yes.
or already seasoned, you're
That
going to
is
be
the
paying more money
expensive
for
part.
it.
People cut
So
it.
you can save money by buying the whole roast. You can buy a whole chuck roast for cheaper than you can buy the stew beef for, and then you can cut it yourself. And you can make ground beef yourself. You can do all that kind of stuff if you buy just a giant cut of meat. Looking at the difference in price, maybe you're buying like 1 pound of ground beef at a time or 2 pounds of ground beef at a time, but it might be cheaper to buy 5 if we're looking at that unit pricing and stuff like that too. So figure out where you can cut those expenses with things like that. Like convenience is going to charge. Convenience always comes at a cost with a lot of
Yes.
things like this. So baby carrots might be easier because they're peeled and already ready to go.
Yeah, just
but
buy the big bag of carrots.
yeah, big bag of
They
carrots,
taste
cut
the
it up
same.
yourself.
They have the same nutrients.
Yep.
Yep.
So there's a lot of good things that you can
Yeah.
get.
And
where
also
you're
green
not doing
onions
convenience.
here. If you regrow those scraps, then you can save this money.
Yeah, don't have to
this.
buy it every single time. It's only like $1 most of the time.
Yeah.
But that adds up. Every dollar does count with that. All right. And then
Going to move to the next one. Okay. Once you check your food expense and then you already doing this for like 1 week, 2 weeks, then you can evaluate your plan. You can ask yourself those questions. What meal meets your metro needs the most this month? Yeah, that means that meals you can repeat later.
Yeah,
For the
did it
future.
give you the comfort that you're looking for? Was it giving you, if you wanted salty, is it giving you that? Is it meeting the nutritional needs that you were setting for yourself or those goals? So meeting needs doesn't just mean like fitness or nutrition goals. It could be just, do you want something crunchy and salty? Did you get that?
Yes.
Because sometimes
Yeah, just
it's
take care
one of
of
those
your
things where if you
emotion.
just deny it, you're going to want it more. That's just a psychological fact at
Mm-hmm.
that point. What met the needs that you needed the most? With, I mean, all of us here.
Yeah, were you able to follow through on your meal plan?
Yeah.
Yes? No? Then why? Ask yourself. And then you can change your plan. Do you have leftovers? Were you able to utilize or save them? Like some soup is good to keep up to 3 months in the freezer. So you can always save some soup if you have some leftovers. What meals did you most enjoy that you would like to repeat? Yeah, just some good recipes.
Yeah, and
want
if you
to
don't remember
make
the
again.
specific recipes, I always take the pictures so I know, like, hey, this is something I really
Yeah.
liked. I have not taken a single picture of a meal I didn't like that I made. So having those pictures, it'll pop up randomly and like, oh, I should make this again or something like that. So having those reminders, those ways, maybe you put it on the fridge or get a recipe book. They have them relatively cheap online. You can write down all the recipes of things that you like to make.
Yeah, that's cute.
It's cute. I love it.
And what meals were the cost effective on your food budget? So once you have a very tight budget, then think about those meals. They can help you save money. Then you can do that during that time. Okay, and then the last one. Here are just some resources I want to share. Those food assistance programs, their eligibility may varies. But if you do interested, you can look inside and then you can figure out which one is available in your area.
And all of these have rolling application too. You don't have to apply by a certain time of the year, like health plans and stuff like that. I would just keep an eye on it. If there are local groups like United Way and stuff like that, they might just have open enrollment for some things. There's a lot of food pantries that open up restrictions on, like, I think Windsor Road is first Saturday of the month. They don't have any sort of income limit on it. So if you want to go to a food pantry,
Yeah,
they might
just
just have extra. Sometimes at the end of the day, for a
Yeah.
lot of restaurants, they'll do stuff like that too. They'll give you a ton of things just because they're just trying to get rid of stuff before it goes bad. So looking at stuff like that, like there might be more that you qualify for that you might not realize. So just looking through these, if it's stuff that's going to
Yeah,
get thrown
just
away,
why
if it
not?
doesn't
Give it
get
a try.
used, yeah. So a lot of them are great as well as working with budgets or just helping you kind of figure out what you can do with things. A lot of them have like dried beans and stuff like that, and they can tell you how to use it. If you see us there, we'll probably at most of the food pantries.
Yes, yes,
So
you're
you'll
gonna
see
see
us
me.
there, and we can give you a lot of fun ideas.
Okay. Oh, it's exactly 1 hour for this presentation.
Hey, look at that.
Thank you, everyone.